Good morning. I am D. Kailash Prabhu, Assistant Professor in EEE Department in ACE Engineering College. Today I would like to explain verification of Thevenin's and Norton's theorem. It is a part of experiment in electrical circuits lab which comes in BTech EEE second year first semester laboratory, right? So before we begin to discuss about these theorems, let us talk about necessity of a theorem. If you talk about necessity of a theorem in a complicated network consisting of sources, nodes, meshes, if the response of a single element is desired, these network theorems are used. What I mean to say is, basically these network theorems reduces the complexity in finding the response in any element, right? How it is reducing the complexity? Generally, if you see in any network, source may be constant, load always varies, right? So if you want to find a response across the load, since load is always varying, so we should we have to find every time equivalent resistance, total resistance of the network with change in load resistance. So if you convert any network into Thevenin's equivalent, generally Thevenin's equivalent consists of a source VTH in series with the resistor RTH and a load resistor. So if you convert any big network into that small network at any load variation, we can be able to calculate the response very easily. Means mathematical labor work is reduced by these theorems, right? So let me discuss the statement of Thevenin's and Norton's theorem, right? Thevenin's theorem states that in a linear two-terminal network consisting of voltage sources, current sources and resistances can be replaced by an equivalent circuit consisting of a voltage source VTH, V suffix TH, TH means Thevenin's, VTH in series with the resistance RTH, where VTH is the open circuit voltage across the two terminals. I will explain what are those two terminals in our discussion. And RTH is the input or resistance between the two terminals when all independent sources are inactive, or we have to turn off all independent sources while calculating the resistance, right? So same like let me state Norton's theorem also. Norton's theorem states that any linear two-terminal network consisting of voltage source, current sources and resistances can be replaced by an equivalent Norton circuit which consists of a Norton's current IN in parallel with the resistance RN, where IN is the short circuit current across the two terminals, through the two terminals, and Rn is the resistance, input resistance or resistance between the two terminals when all the sources will make it inactive, right? So let me explain the theoretical calculations for this theorem, right? So I will take a network, a T network. Theoretical calculations. Let me take a source and a resistor and one more resistor, and here one more resistor. Here we have 2 points. Let's specify it as A and B, and here load resistor RL is connected. Let's take load resistance value is 1 kilo ohm. This is voltage source. Generally we will be taking from RPS. I will be explaining This is V. For theoretical calculations, we will do for voltage 15 volts. This is positive terminal. This is negative terminal. This is R1 resistor. We will take 1.5 kilo ohms. And this is R2. This is 1 kilo ohm. And this is R3. We will take 2.2 kilo. Right? So, this circuit we have to convert it into Thevenin's equivalent, which consists of a voltage source VTH and a series resistor RTH. And after converting, we have to replace this RL load resistor. So here, how to get this VTH value, RTH value theoretically, I will be explaining. Okay. So as I told, VTH is the open circuit voltage across these two terminals. Right. So open circuit means you have to remove this RL load. So I am redrawing same circuit here by removing RL. This is R1, this is R2, this is R2 and this is R2 and this is R3. R1 1.5 kilo ohm, R3 2.2 kilo ohm, R2 1 kilo ohm. Here we have to see the voltage by giving 15 volts. Right? So this open circuit voltage is nothing but Thevenin's voltage. Right? So how to get this voltage? If we know this is open circuit, anyway current won't flow here. Current won't be flowing in this path. Here current is 0. Right? Let's say this is I2 and I1. I1 will be flowing in this path, right? So I and I1 are equal. Why? Because it is open circuited. I2 will be 0 in this path, and same I and I1 are equal. Right? And here we need to know what is I1 or I, so that we will be knowing in this branch current and resistance. From Ohm's law, we can derive what is the voltage appearing across this branch. From Ohm's law, V is equal to I into R, right? So this I and into this multiplied by R will get voltage. Same voltage will be appearing across these two terminals. So first of all, we need to have total resistance in this path. We need to have total resistance in this path. What is total resistance? Since current is not dividing among these two elements, so we should consider these two elements are connected in series. For series connection, we know the formula R1 plus R2, which is equal to 2.5 kilo ohm. Right? So this is the total resistance in this path. So we need to know what is I or I1. I1 is equal to V by this total resistance, right, which is equal to 15 by 2500, which is equal to which is equal to 6 milliamperes. Which is equal to 6 milliamperes. Now we know I1 and we know R2. We can calculate what is VTH. VTH is equal to I1 into R2. I1 we know 6 milli and R2 1 kilo. So we will get 6 volts. So VTH we got theoretically 6 volts. Right? So how to calculate RTH from this circuit? We have to So same circuit I am redrawing here to calculate RTH. This is A, this is B, this is R3, this is R1 and this is R2, right? So to make voltage source inactive, we have to replace by short circuit. To make voltage source 0, so across short circuit, resistance across short circuit resistance is 0. We know that, right? So from Ohm's law, V is equal to I into R. Irrespective of any current, if R is 0, voltage will be 0. In problem, if we mention internal resistance, we have to replace with internal resistance. Otherwise, simply short circuit. And current sources, we have to replace it open circuit if it is not giving any resistance value, internal resistance value. So how to get RTH now? RTH is equal to, if we apply a voltage here, because of this voltage, current will be flowing in this circuit. So this current is dividing at this point. So here current is not dividing. We should consider this is connected in series and this two connected in parallel. So formula is R3 plus R1 parallel with R2, right? Which is equal to, what is the value of R3? Sorry, 2.2 kilo plus R1 1.5 into 1.5k into 1k divided by 2.5k. We'll get RTH value around 2.8 kilo ohms. So in this way we'll get RTH. Finally we can calculate what is IL. IL is equal to, say these two are connected in series, so VTH by RTH plus RL. So VTH we got 6 volts, RTH we got 2.8 plus 2.8k plus 1k. So IL will get around 1.6 or 1.58 milliamperes. So same thing we'll be checking in the practical experiment. We'll be connecting this circuit and we'll be measuring what is the current flowing here, right? Same current will be flowing here, that is 1.6, around 1.6 milliamperes, and we'll be replacing with Thevenin's equivalent and we'll be giving 6 volts here, that is VTH, and we'll be connecting 2.8 kilo ohms resistor here and 1 kilo ohm resistor, and we'll be checking IL here, and we have to get same current practically, right? So then we can say it is verified. So these are the theoretical calculations for Thevenin's theorem for one voltage, right? So let us see theoretical calculations for Norton's theorem also. Okay, hope you have understood. I am erasing this. Right. So in Norton's theorem, Norton's equivalent circuit, we have a current source, in parallel a resistor. That resistor we have denoted as R, right? Okay. Yes. So how to get this IN value here? As I told, it is a short circuit current across these two terminals. Short circuit current across these two terminals. From here we will get IN value. Right? So if you see this circuit, we have series parallel circuit. So by applying current division rule, we can find out what is IN here. So IN is equal to okay, first of all we need to find total current which is flowing here. Total current which is flowing at this entrance of this circuit, right? So to get total current, we need to have a total resistance here. So total resistance is equal to RT is equal to R1 plus R2 parallel with R3, which is equal to R1 1.5K plus R2 value 1K into 2.2K by 3.2K. So we will get total resistance around 2.18 kilo ohms. So now we got total resistance and we can get now total current also. So IT is equal to 15 divided by 2.18 K. So which is equal to 9.17 milliamperes. Right? From current division rule, now we can find out what is IN. IN is equal to total current into opposite resistance, that is R2 divided by R2 plus R3. Sum of those two resistances among which current is divided. Right? So here IT we know 9.17 milli into what is R2 value 1 kilo divided by 1K plus 2.2 3.2K. So here we will get IN is equal to 2.865 milliamperes. So in this way we will get IN current, right? So how to get RN here? RN is the input resistance between these two terminals by making inactive of all sources. So same circuit, instead of RTH, now we will take RN. So RN already we have solved. RN is equal to 2.8 kilo ohms. So now we got IN and RN. So we can calculate what is IL. IL we know. IN is equal to, by current division rule we can find out IN into opposite resistance, that is RN divided by RN plus RL, which is equal to, if you substitute all the values, we will get 2.10 milliamperes. Like this, we have to do theoretical calculations. Okay, let us perform practical experiment and we'll check whether these calculations are perfect or not. Okay. So before performing practical experiment, let us know what are the apparatus required to perform this experiment. So we need these are the apparatus which we need to perform experiment. One is dual channel regulated power supply, means two channel, dual means two channel, regulated means a variation of voltage we can get, and power supply, that is 30 volts. The max voltage we can opt it from this equipment is 30 volts and max current is 2 amperes, and that is DC voltage, right? DC voltage we can get it from this panel. We used to call it as RPS, right? Okay. So here since it is dual channel, means two supplies we can take. Anyway, we need only one supply in this experiment, so we'll take one supply, right? These are the terminals from which we can take voltage output, right? This is positive terminal, negative terminal, and this is another supply is positive terminal and negative terminal. This is ground terminal, right? So here we have two switches. One is voltage switch and one is current switch, and two displays. One is voltage display and one is current display. So if you are placing this voltage switch towards the channel 1, so it will show, this display will show voltage reading and current reading of channel 1. If you are placing this switch towards the channel 2, it will show voltage variation, current variation of channel 2. This box variations are related to channel 2 variations, and this box variations are related to channel 1 variations, right? So here we have power on off button, line fuse, right? If any short circuit happens, it will be blowing, right? Fuse element will be melting, and here we'll get fuse blown light indication, okay? And these knobs are related to channel 1 variations, and these knobs are related to channel 2 variations. So if you see here, so here we have a voltage find knob, voltage course knob, and current limit knob, okay? So let me switch on this panel first, okay? So here voltage find means we can vary voltage, slow, we have to put towards channel 1, and see, voltage find means it will vary in points, right? A small variation we can do to fix exact voltage. Voltage course means it will vary in units. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that you can vary. This current limit means maximum current it will allow 2 amperes. If anyway our currents are in milliamperes, so if you have to place any minimum position, that is sufficient, okay? So this is all about the RPS, and we need multimeter also to measure the response in element. So here this is the multimeter by which we can measure voltage, current, and resistance, etc., right? This is power on off button, and if you are measuring DC values, you have to place this switch towards DC, and if you are measuring AC values, you have to place this switch towards the AC, right? So if you are measuring resistance means here if you can see, this is ohms. In between two lines, this knob you have to place, so that if the value of resistance is 10 kilo, you have to place it up to 20, means it can measure up to 20. If you are placing at 2k and if you are measuring 10k, means it won't show that. Here you are giving maximum range, right? It can measure up to 2k. If you are placing here, it can measure up to 20k. This is all resistance variation, and if you see here, up from here, this line to this line, this is current measurement. So you can put any value. If the current is milliamperes, you have to put here. If microamperes, you have to put here. So based on your values, you have to place this now. From this line to this line, voltage variation. So depending on voltage, you can put knob here, right? So here we have probes. We need to connect the probes to measure. Let's say if you want to measure resistance, you have to put knob here, and for every measurement you have to connect this common terminal here, and if you are measuring resistance, you have to put here this red prop, and if you are measuring voltage you have to put here only. Why? Because V and ohms are same terminal, right? And if you are measuring current means you have to, if it is in milli or micro, you have to place this terminal here, or if it is in amperes you have to put here. Okay, so let me measure resistance by placing here. Okay, so before that we'll see what is this box. This is a decade resistance box. So we have means decade any value of resistance we can fix in this box, right? So for every value we cannot get this carbon resistor, so that we can fix any value here. So for that sake we'll be using this decade resistance box. So in short form we will be saying DRB, right? It has two terminals, three terminals, positive, negative and ground, right? So this variation of is related to 100K, this is 10K, 1K, 100, 100 and 10, right? So based on the required value you can set, you can vary this dial and you can set any value of resistor. And to conduct experiment we also need breadboard to make the connections. If you see here, a lot of series and parallel holes are there, right? So here we have 4 slots, 1, 2, 3, 4. This center 2 slots are, these holes are connected vertically. All holes are internally connected. So how they are connected means, here these 2 slots are connected vertically, and this top slot and the bottom slot are connected horizontally. Means what I am mean to say is, I am saying this is vertical connection, right? So all these 5 holes, if you can see, all these 5 holes are connected internally. So if you are placing one terminal here, if you are placing one terminal below that, so both the terminals will be connecting. If you are placing beside that hole, means that won't be connecting. Why? Because there is only vertical connection. Here also horizontal connection. Here we have 2 lines. So top 25 holes are connected here and bottom 25 holes are connected here up to center, right? So after the center, these 2 lines are internally connected. So this is used for making connections. So we need 4 types of 4 resistors here. One is of 1.5 kilo ohms, 1 kilo ohm resistor we need 2 number, and 1.5 kilo ohm resistor we need 1, and 2.2 kilo ohm resistor we need 1. So these are the resistors we need to for conduction of this experiment. So this is all about the equipment. Let us perform Thevenin's experiment now. Okay, so now we'll connect this circuit. So same, we'll connect this circuit and we'll measure what is the current flowing here, and again we'll shift, we'll make this connection, this not Thevenin's equivalent, and we'll measure current. Both the current should be same, then only we can say both the circuits are verified, Thevenin's theorem is verified. Okay, so here if you can see, this is connected in T fashion. So positive terminal is connected to R1 another terminal is connected to R2 and R3 another terminal is connected to RL, and R2 another terminal is connected to this negative and this RL. So like this you have to make connections. So in theoretical calculations also we have taken same fashion. Okay, R1 is equal to 1.5 kilo ohms, R2 is equal to 1 kilo ohms, and R3 is equal to 2.2 kilo ohms. This is positive terminal and this is negative terminal. So positive terminal you connect somewhere here, and negative terminal I'm connecting here. So to positive terminal, R1 is connected. R1 is 1.5 kilo ohms. So to make connections I have to place this terminal below this, not here. If you are placing here means it won't be connecting. So you have to place here. So this is R1. Yes. So R1 is connected. Now R2. So R2 is connected to R1 another terminal and R2 is connected to negative. Since here it is horizontal connection, I can place this terminal here so that it is connected. And now R3 connected at this point and here, right? So we need to put a ammeter here so that it will measure the load current. So here we have ammeter, and its two terminals, right? So positive terminal I have to put here and negative terminal I have to place somewhere here, right? And to that negative terminal I have to connect this 1 ohm resistor which has to connect to our negative, right? So same circuit I have connected here. I ignored this voltage source, so here I have placed an ammeter. So same connections I have did here. So let us switch on vary the voltage to 15 volts and let's see the current value. Okay. To fix exact value we can use this find knob. Okay, see, for 15 volts we'll be getting 1.6 value. We have placed this knob in milli value, so it means 1.6 milliamperes. Okay, 1.6 or 1.5 milliamperes, right? Same thing we have got in theoretical calculations. See, 1.6 or 1.57 milliamperes. Practically also we are getting same value. Okay, so now let us replace with also we have to see for 20 volts. Let us see for 20 volts. Yes, for 20 volts we will be getting 2 milliamperes, right? So this we have taken for Norton's theorem. So if you see for 20 volts we'll get IL as 2.1 milliamperes, right? So for Norton's theoretical calculations we have taken voltage as 20 volts. So for 20 volts we have got IL is equal to this much. So same thing we'll see with Thevenin's equivalent and Norton's equivalent. Let me minimize this voltage to 0 value and switch off. Okay. So now I have to remove all these resistances one by one. Let me keep this load resistor as it is and let me connect this decayed resistance box. I have set this value as 2.8 kilo ohms. We can also check from by this multimeter. correct. 2.8, nearly 2.8 kilo ohms. 2.8 means what is 2.8? That is RTH value and RN value what we have got theoretically, right? So now I am connecting RTH. So this is positive supply terminal. So to positive supply terminal I am connecting this positive terminal, and this negative terminal I am connecting to the ammeter positive terminal, right? So this is nothing but now Thevenin's equivalent circuit. Here we have supply, here we have RTH resistor, and here we have RL, and here we have ammeter. Okay, so let me switch on circuit again. So VTH we have to give 6 volts, right? 6 volts. For 6 volts we are getting 1.6 or 1.6 milliamperes. So same thing we have got here. See, so for 6 volts VTH by placing RTH 2.8K, RL 1K, we have to get IL is equal to 1.6. So this, for this circuit also we got 1.6 only. So hence we can say it is verified. So say in same way we'll see with Norton's equivalent also. So let me reduce this voltage to 0 value and switch off. And Norton's equivalent also for RL is equal to RN is equal to 2.8 kilo ohms only, but it is connected in parallel. So here we need to take a current source. Anyway, current source also comes from voltage source only, but here this current display, it will show from 0.5 amperes only. It won't show milliamperes. And why? Because we need current value as 2.8 milliamperes. So it won't show. That is why we have to connect one more multimeter. Okay, so let me connect one more multimeter at the input side. So this is another multimeter which we'll use to measure the current. This is positive terminal is connected to supply positive, and negative terminal is connected to this RN positive value. Okay, and here we'll be using one multimeter to measure the load current. So we have to connect like this. So here what connections I made? Here I made a source, right? A voltage source. Here I placed one ammeter so that it can measure what current it is giving, and I have placed RN parallel here, RN parallel and RL parallel. Okay, here I have placed one more ammeter so that it will measure IL current. Okay, so let me switch on circuit once again. So we have to give 2.8 milliamperes, that we have to see in this multimeter. Yes, so I have given 2.8 milliamperes of current here, right? So with this X voltage, so what I am getting here, 2.1 milliamperes of load current. So hence it is verified. IL is equal to 2.1. So hence it is verified. In this way you have to perform practical experiment by using this apparatus. Okay, thank you.